Hey everybody, I am on for the Midweek Message Reveal Wednesday, September 25th. Welcome to the energy this week. There's a lot happening. We've moved into Libra, and Libra, the sign of the scales, the justice system, the righter of wrongs, the counselor, the mediator, the people pleaser, the princess in a lot of ways, the prince, the one who is seen as the righter of wrongs and feels almost obliged to make everyone feel better when they're trying to right those wrongs. That's Libra energy coming through fierce and thick. And the shift from Virgo, where it's very nitpicky and wanting to organize these things, moving into Libra that's saying, I see you as you are, and I see how you are presenting yourself, and I will temper myself against it in order to bring that balance. And that is the positive and the negative of Libra energy. It wants to match, it wants to fix, it wants to do what Virgo sets out to accomplish, which is to align a path of it sounds like control, but it really isn't meant in that negative way, the way that control, when someone is being controlling, comes across. It's more a facilitator for the most efficient way to remedy the issue. And the thing is that when you're dealing with people, issues are complicated and enmeshed and involve a lot of different moving parts and cogs and things like that, and emotions and patterns and behaviors and reactions, so on and so forth. So if you're feeling a little confused, or if you're feeling that in a relationship sense with yourself, with others, maybe your interpersonal relationships or your personal private relationships, the energy there is very questionable. And it's not so much a where do we stand as more this is where I believe we are, where do you think we are, and do we need to check in and make sure that we're on the same page? That is more the energy. Okay, so as we move into Libra energy, after we've been on the other side of the equinox here, and we are coming up to another eclipse here, the solar eclipse on the 2nd, that will usher in a different sort of energy. As the lunar eclipse is bringing through that sense of emotion, the solar eclipse is bringing through a sense of power of the self and a statement of who it is that I is, who you is, who is you. That is what is up for grabs, and that is what is up to be defined. If you do not do it for yourself, then you stand, unfortunately, the chance of someone else trying to define you for yourself. And what does that feel like? I don't think that feels great, and that's not where I want to be, but who am I to say what anyone else wants, right? As we shift into this energy and the information coming from clients and just my own gleanings into what's going on at this time, there is a feeling of tumult, and that tumultuous sort of where does this go sort of energy can make you feel a bit uneven, make you feel a certain kind of way, make you feel as if the other shoe is going to drop, and that is par for the course. It's designed to get you thinking and feeling. It's designed to get you wondering, and it's designed to get your feelers out feeling. So if you feel like your antennas are up, they are for a reason. And I guess the good answer there is that they work. So good for you. Good for you for your antennas working. All right. Speaking of working, if you'd like to work with me, I'd love to work with you. So here is my website. Please reach out. Keep an eye posted in this space, because I'm going to be bringing in some new things for October with special pricing and things along those lines. So please make sure you're following me. Come check it out. Send a message. See what's going on. Would love to work with you. And I will go ahead and get started here with the messages this week. If you hear chirpy birds in the background, it's because we are entertaining the animals with the television. So chirp, chirp, chirp. So I can hear it's probably pretty loud. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the messages. And as always, thank you so much for your feedback. It helps me. My own personal development. It helps me show my accuracy with clients, which is how I keep myself alive and love to do this work. So thank you for all your support and your tips and your donations and your services that you have requested from me. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to jump into one. All right. One coming through pretty intensely. There's There's someone else that is kind of taking your, kind of glimmering here in the periphery of your focus. You're focused on this direction. This is where you think you're going to go. This is where you want to go. These are the kinds of people you want to hang out with. And then there's someone else in the periphery on the sidelines that just kind of keeps catching your attention. For some of you, it's a positive distraction because it's showing you that you do have interest in a different type of human. For others, it's showing that you have still an interest in a different kind of human, and perhaps that type of human is not always the best to have in an interpersonal way with you. Maybe they are not the best person to get emotionally involved with because they are not necessarily able to be emotionally involved themselves or available. And you might be finding that that other person or that other unit of people, because in some regards for someone else in one, it's actually a group of people that kind of operate in a hive mind sort of personality, and in that sense there is a feeling of otherness, and you feel othered by them. What I mean by that is that you know where you stand, you know who you are to this group or this other person, and at the same time they still manage to make you question yourself, maybe what you believe in, or you feel like you have to speak it up more, or you need to state your point of view more often just to make sure that they understand that you're on the same page. The whole vibe behind it, regardless of the other person, is why do you feel that you have to explain yourself? That is the question here, guys. Why do you have to give your power to someone else in order to have it defined by yourself aloud again and again and again? Why are you not able to stand in that knowing of who you are and be able to say, this is what they think and this doesn't affect me? Why are you letting them affect you? I'm gonna let you sit with that. If you need someone to help you unpack, this is my bread and butter. This is the stuff I love to do. So happy to help you there. Please reach out for a more in-depth session. Otherwise, what I'm going to ask for one to do, and the advice is to seek more sure footing. Seek more sure footing. Where you're at, is questionable. Where you stand with these people and in this relationship / situationship / it's even a work relationship for some people, it's questionable. It's causing you to have to give up things in order to hold the line there to stay where you're at. Is it worth it? Those are the questions that only you can answer, and those are the questions only you are able to glean into. We can help all we want with asking for the support of our higher selves and for our team and other people involved. But ultimately, when I say, is it worth it? You have a gut reaction immediately, whether or not it is. Sit with that a little while and see what it tells you. If it's so uncomfortable that you need to do something, start there. Okay, moving on to 2. 2. If you chose 2. In many ways, like the stone that was chosen, there's a feeling of seeing yourself and others in a reflective way, right? Like the mirror. And it's through understanding what you are not at this time that you're starting to understand who you are. Similar to 1, different flavor though. Very much the par for the course as we do week to week, especially for those of you that pick multiples. So there are aspects of this for those of you that chose multiples, that 2 is not bringing, that 3 does, or that 1 does. And it is through understanding the trials and tribulations that you've had to undergo, the difficult things and the confusing things that you've recently encountered and are still to some degree encountering. It's a state of discomfort that has really kind of loosed you from this sort of matrix. Now, like crystals themselves are in a matrix. They are part of something. So a Lemurian seed like this would be part of a matrix of earth from which it came. You, just like the crystal once it is unearthed, is its own entity on its own, but it takes a lot of definition from where it came. you're in a space where you came from, where you grew up, the things that you believe, some of what you've brought with you as a generational being. There are pieces of information that come from the place that you were born and the people that you came through, and the upbringing that you had, that creates a certain signature in your energy. And you take that with you, regardless if you stayed where you lived or if you've moved all over the world. Everywhere you go, you bring and change an aspect of that energy with you. Now, what you're finding is that you've started to define yourself outside of the matrix itself, both figuratively and like literally, but your definition of yourself has shifted. You need to watch, though, considering the matrix of the other crystals, the people around you that are kind of stuck in formation. They don't necessarily have the same perspective as you. They don't have the same movability that you have had. They are still essentially stuck in a cluster of their own environment. You can't possibly expect them to understand. But there is a way in which you can kind of mend fences, and that you can get them to understand you and hear you, because you bring a perspective that is different. And the reason why you are where you are is because you were to bring a different perspective to a group of people who are not able to see otherwise. So if you're feeling like you're kind of backed up against a wall trying to explain to people and maybe falling on deaf ears, know that it's actually getting through. They're just not able to respond to you yet. This group of people has a difficult time have a difficult time, sorry, I'm having a hard time getting it out of my mouth, communicating what it is they need and think and feel in a way that is independent of the group as a whole. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't stop putting your influence out there, your opinions and your beliefs, especially if they are kind and coming from a place of compassion and care, because it is definitely needed and wanted. Just understand that the reactions that you believe or expect these people to have is going to be different than what they actually do. Give them time. They will change. All right, moving on to 3. If you chose 3, oh, she's gonna be so shiny. So pretty. All right, 3. So with 3, this has to do with you connecting to the concept of the father, for those of you in 3. So this could be a literal father, your literal father. This could be the concept of an authority figure that acts as a masculine counterpart. Doesn't mean they have to be male, just because male in gender or expressing as male. It's the energy behind them, as we are all male and female. We have masculine and feminine in order for us to be balanced. Some of us are more than others on one side or the other. And we are allowed to shift and change from there. This perspective that you're having of the elder male, of the authoritative male, masculine entity, not necessarily male. I know I keep saying that. It's just that this figurehead type person has a very masculine presence. And it is actually kind of a distorted version of what masculinity is. You're learning what it means to be what the statement "be a man" or "take it like a man" or all those very patriarchal sort of phrases. If we can take the leveling out of it, if we can take the hierarchy out of it, that I'm better than you sort of thing, and see this more as in what the masculine energy is designed to do, which is to reach out and enact, to enact change, to protect, and to create scenarios in which there can be positive influence, and that there can be success and progress down the line, that it's efficient, and that it is energetic. It is not passive, it is active. So in your interactions with this person, literally, or even the concept of them, and you might even be seeing them in a structural organization as the head honcho, the male, the dad, the boss, whatever, that structure is shifting, that structure is changing, and also you will see that person who is that figurehead is also going through their own sort of cognitive dissonance, because what was being held in power is no longer holding. The glue, has started to kind of separate from the material itself, and it's starting to come apart. We will see that as it expands out through the world stage. You'll see this in relationships. We'll see this in units of families and organizations. A shift to accept that the typical masculine energy is the only way to rule, the only way to get things done, when you are bringing forth more of a nurturing and supportive and fertile sort of energy that says, come and collaborate, come and give your information and allow me to absorb it and to digest it and to distill it into myself and give it back to you in a way that is changed and softer and more holistic and more encompassing of the energy that we're looking to move into here in the age of Aquarius, which is less structures, more humanitarian efforts. That if there is a structure in place, that it is redesigned in order to serve the benefit of the whole. And Libra season and Libra energy loves that and brings that forward and pushes that through. So if you're feeling that, that's what you're kind of experiencing here. I would say journal on it. I would say bring up some conversations with yourself around how you were raised and reared and where that energy comes from. And is that changing your own personal definition of what masculinity looks like in a spiritual sense, in a world stage, in a family unit, in a relationship? How does that change? All right. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change your definitions. All right. So 4. Oh, she's so pretty. 4, you've been asking for assistance. And this asking for assistance is not something that hasn't been heard, because you're asking in a way that is different. You're not asking just for yourself. You're asking for a larger group. You're asking for more of a cause. You're asking for more of a holistic response to a very human, basic desire. And that desire is a sense of safety and also a sense of a soft place to land. And I hear that, soft place to land. And you're looking for a place to build from, a foundation, something that is very similar when we were talking about feminine energy, that's fertile in the place that it is looking to be erected, something new that is coming. And this is an endeavor that's a personal one, but it also loops into like a career path for a lot of you. And for some of you, this goes into the areas of parenthood, and also taking on a parental role, whether that's something for your own children or for others that you're looking to help serve in a community sense, or if you're actually going to be parenting parents. And in some regards, some of you are actually parenting and reparenting yourselves through connection to your inner children. And that in itself is its own endeavor with its own unique challenges and responsibilities and beautiful insights. Again, if you need assistance with that, please feel free to reach out. As you shift and grow and change through this and are understanding the responsibility that it takes in order to help someone through life, to walk alongside them and not walk for them, to understand that those who come into your world, especially those that we have in romantic ways, are not there to complete us, but are there as shadows of ourselves reflected back, to where the only person that can complete you is you. You are complete on your own. There is nothing missing from you. And this message is what you're bringing out. And it's a message that you're learning through this parenting, through this opportunity to be responsible for others, through this opportunity to foresee and help plan out the trajectory for the rest of life for someone, or for their care, or for a time that they are going through where they need assistance. This walking alongside is true embodiment of Christ consciousness and is the true concept of space Jesus, my favorite kind of Jesus. It is seeing yourself as part of the whole and not seeing yourself separate from it. So in turn, when you are helping others, you are essentially helping yourself, and you are able to see yourself in everyone. This can be a little freaky, especially for those of you who are parenting parents or are helping people who are older than you or who have been an authoritative figure in your life at some point or held authority over others, and you now get to step in and be their support. That has its own unique challenges, but you're able for it. It wouldn't come up if it wasn't something you were able to go through or meant to encounter. This is where you need to ask for help though when you need it, because the risk of burnout and caregiver fatigue is pretty strong. And that's something that you're already a little bit behind the 8 ball with. So watch your sleep, watch your beverages, make sure you're keeping yourself hydrated, and allow yourself that rest, because you do need to detach. You're not going to be able to keep this up for long if you don't do that for yourself. Okay, so that's a warning with love, not in a sad way, but in like a care about you kind of way, please. Okay, so while this is a wonderful, beautiful thing that you are helping, you also need to make sure that you prioritize yourself and your self-care, or you will be no help to anyone, especially to yourself. And that's not a lesson you want to learn this way. It's also one that you've kind of learned before. So let's not repeat the process. But it is a step in a deeper awakening and a deeper unfolding of who you are, and a true testament to your softness and your vulnerability and your beautiful heart. And they thank you and care for you. And you are much appreciated. That comes through very strongly. Okay, so those are the messages this week. Would love to hear how they land for you. So please leave me some feedback. It helps me grow. It helps me in all kinds of ways. And it lets me know that you are connected and are interested in what I have to offer and all of my free stuff. Would love to work with you. So please reach out and let me know what you're interested in working on. As I said, I will be changing some things up. So watch this space, reach out, make sure that you are connected with me as I'm doing lives and all kinds of good stuff. And I would love to be able to extend that to you as well. All right, I hope you have a wonderful night. Make sure you prioritize you. Take a bubble bath, eat some chocolate, have a beer, have some candy, whatever it is that makes you feel good. Put on your cozy pajamas and your slippers and dance booty dance in the kitchen. I don't think I can edit that one out, and I'm not going to. All right, peace.